Now, the United Nations dedicated the 22nd of May as International Day of Biological Diversity to create awareness about biodiversity issues. The theme for this year is Our Solutions Are in Nature, as this year's commemoration is a different as the world battles COVID-19. Now, to discuss this further, we are joined via Skype by Johannesburg MMC for Environment and Infrastructure, Mpho Moerane. Thank you very much for joining us, Mpho, first and foremost. Now, let's start right there. What is the biodiversity and why is it important to us? For the layman who's sitting there and saying, hey, big word that is, what is biodiversity?
Hi, Tabiso. Hi to the viewers of SABC 3. Tabiso, the United Nations Convention on Biological Diversity entered into force in December 1993. You will understand that biodiversity talks about species that are rare. And for ecosystem to prevail, we need to protect both plants and animals that are rare. Biodiversity, actually, the Mayoral Committee has approved for the city to be declared a bioregion for the development and publication of the city's bioregional plan. The plan, in simple, we have these species, both animals and trees, for our ecosystems. I think that's the nutshell to make sure that our ecosystems are protected. I think, yeah.
How serious is the problem in as far as the loss of biodiversity within the city as that you represent?
The city has just concluded the revision of its biodiversity and the action plan. The strategy and the biodiversity sector plans are tools used in the mainstreaming of our biodiversity considerations into policies, strategies, and practices. And Tabiso, our river streams, I'll use our river streams as an example, have plants that cleans our water on our rivers. Now, it is our responsibility as a city to make sure that we protect them. You have animals that are a city like Johannesburg, it's a developmental city where people want to build houses, want to do all these sorts of things. They think these species are not important, but it is our role and our responsibility as the city to protect them. If we just leave it, developers will just see land and go and build. People don't want to see land. When they see land, they go like, yes, we can do this, we can build a shopping center here, we can build houses here. They forget that we have the responsibility to protect the environment.
Do people take this, the particular department, as you mentioned, in particular in Johannesburg, do people take it seriously? I mean, you mentioned the fact that everywhere you drive through Johannesburg, if you haven't driven down the M1 South in a while, you drive down there, next time there's a block of flats there. And Johannesburg has been voted as one of the greenest cities, metropoles in the world in terms of having tree population. Do people take it seriously? Is it a concern for you that we have too many, in particular, flats or complexes going up all over the place in Johannesburg? There's hardly any open spaces left.
So it is very serious, but I must admit that when we started with the executive mayor, Councillor Jeffrey Makubo, the issues of environment have been put in the forefront. I must say, in the past 3 years, there has been not serious environmental issues within the city. So we have decided that we're going to put environment number one. You will recall that our executive mayor was a participant at the Paris Convention that was looking at the climate action plan, the COP21. So it's one of the things that he has a passion on.
Mpho, we seem to be losing Mpho Moerane there, who's MMC for Environment and Infrastructure and the City of Johannesburg, join us via Skype. Important conversation we're having there, in particular on Johannesburg. As I was asking him, everywhere you drive past, there seems to be new complexes and buildings going up, so it would have been interesting to hear his take on that as well, what it has and as far as the biodiversity implications with regards to the cities.